Have you ever gotten to the end of a really long workday and you look back at your calendar, your inbox, and you realize you weren't actually leading anything?
Hmm.
You were just reacting, just trying to keep up with the next urgent thing flashing on your screen, basically running on organizational adrenaline.
That feeling is, I think it's the defining anxiety of work right now. That sense of being totally overwhelmed by speed, by information.
Yeah, the sheer volume of it all.
Exactly. And today we're doing a deep dive into something that's, well, it's paradoxically both the victim and the solution to all that chaos.
And that is critical thinking.
Right. Critical thinking.
But, we're not talking about it in some dry academic sense. We're
Yeah.
talking about what it actually looks like in a high-stakes, super fast-paced job.
And crucially, why protecting your ability to do it is maybe the ultimate form of self-care.
So where are we drawing from today for this deep dive?
Our deep dive today is based entirely on the latest Leading with Intention newsletter by Turan Koch, specifically her piece, which is titled, Is Your Brain on Autopilot? Why Critical Thinking is the Ultimate Self-Care.
I love that title. And she sets the stage so well with that quote that's attributed to Aristotle.
Oh, it's perfect for this.
It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it.
And that's the thing, isn't it? The modern work environment is almost actively designed to stop you from just entertaining a thought.
It demands you accept it and move on.
Immediately.
Yeah.
You've got constant urgency, calendars packed back to back, and this is the new piece, this rapid influx of AI-generated answers that just sounds so authoritative.
And that's the core problem she sets up.
Yeah.
We mistake being busy, being active and clearing the inbox.
Right.
We mistake that for thinking well. And they are two fundamentally different states.
Fundamentally different. Being busy is often just optimized reaction. Thinking well, that requires real intention.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack this whole relationship between speed, AI, why projects fail, and why protecting your ability to think clearly is, well, it's a strategic necessity.
It's not an indulgence. It's about protecting your most valuable asset.
Exactly.
So let's start with what Turan calls the two big pressures right now, the urgency trap and the AI temptation.
Okay, let's unpack that. The pressure to move fast it's just relentless. Think about it. Just a few years ago, if you wanted a complex summary, you'd wait for days.
Days.
Or weeks. Now, AI gives you a full plan, recommendations, analysis in seconds. That speed is so addictive.
It is addictive. And that's the temptation right there. The speed creates a kind of psychological vacuum. You want a resolution so badly that you just accept the AI's output.
Without really questioning it.
Without questioning it at all. The moment you stopped asking, wait, why was this included? Or what are the assumptions here? That's the moment you've outsourced your critical function.
And the risk isn't just that the AI is wrong. It could be right, but in this, incredibly narrow sense.
Yes. It answers the prompt. It processes information brilliantly. But it doesn't have judgment.
That distinction is everything.
It is. And that's what Turan really emphasizes. She calls critical thinking a fundamentally human capability.
Because of what it includes that AI can't replicate.
Exactly. AI is fantastic at what's called inductive reasoning, recognizing patterns in data that already exists. But humans,
Yeah.
we do abductive reasoning. We form the best explanation from incomplete data. We see implications that aren't in the data set yet.
Okay, so give me an example. The AI gives me a perfectly optimized supply chain based on historical costs.
Right, great processing. But the human leader is the one who has to use critical thought to ask the uncomfortable questions.
Right.
Like, what happens if a geopolitical crisis makes half of our historical data totally irrelevant? Or what are the trade-offs here? Are we sacrificing resilience for this efficiency?
Ah, okay. You're injecting the messy real-world context.
Messy context, ethics, long-term strategy, all the things that you have to weigh before you act on the report. The AI gives you the ingredients, but you have to decide if it's the right meal to serve.
That really clarifies the roles.
Mm-hmm.
AI does the processing, we do the judging.
And when you skip that judgment step, the failures show up almost immediately in projects, in teams.
Yeah.
It gets real fast.
This is where I thought the newsletter got so interesting because Koch gives these really tangible examples of what a lack of critical thinking actually looks like on the ground.
Oh, they're painfully relatable.
So relatable. Let's talk about the status report example.
The green status report, we've all seen it.
Oh, yeah. The dashboard is glowing green. It says 90% progress. Everything looks great.
But then you talk to the actual teams.
And they are burning out. They're working 70-hour weeks just to paper over some fundamental flaw in the original plan that no one questioned.
Because no one paused at the beginning. Or what about scope creep that just appears out of nowhere?
The project that starts as one thing and ends up as something completely different.
Right. You start out trying to improve efficiency, and 6 months later, you're building a dashboard for a totally different department. Why? Because someone just kept saying yes to new ideas without checking if they served the original problem.
And my favorite, or least favorite, is the confident recommendation that just completely falls apart.
Yes.
A team comes in, they have beautiful charts, AI-backed insights, and you ask 3 simple questions and the whole thing just dissolves.
Because they processed the data, but they never stopped to reflect on what it actually meant. And the difference maker in all of these scenarios is what Turin calls the pause.
The pause. Okay, but I can hear leaders listening to this and thinking a pause, I don't have time for a pause. That sounds like analysis paralysis.
And that's the fear, isn't it? That's a valid concern. But she's very clear that this is not about stopping everything.
So it's not analysis paralysis.
No. It's not about slowing execution forever. It's about slowing the decision just long enough right at the start to make sure you're executing the right thing.
So how do you do that without derailing everything?
She suggests things like a 15-minute pre-mortem. Get the team together and ask them to imagine the project has already failed 6 months from now.
Oh, I like that.
And then you work backward.
Yeah.
What went wrong? What assumptions did we make that turned out to be false? It forces you to question things today.
So you're shifting the risk. Instead of rushing to build the wrong thing, you're taking a tiny bit of time to make sure the direction is solid.
Precisely.
Mm.
Because under pressure, teams default to execution mode. The goal just becomes move forward.
Any forward motion feels like progress.
Right. Even if it's off a cliff. Critical thinking just restores the priority. And make sure you confirm 3 things before you start the heavy lifting.
Okay, what are the 3?
1. Is the problem we're solving actually clear and worth solving? 2. Do we truly understand all the constraints? Time, money, resources.
And 3.
3. Is success clearly defined? And not just by us, but by the customer. If you can nail those 3 things with an intentional pause, the execution that follows will be incredibly effective, not just fast.
This all leads to what was, for me, the most unexpected part of this whole deep dive.
The self-care connection.
The self-care connection. I mean, when I hear self-care, I'm thinking, a day off, maybe a yoga class, not project management.
I know, but the way she frames it is so practical, it's almost scientific.
It's not the spa day version of self-care.
No, not at all. It's self-care as in protecting your most critical professional asset. Your cognitive capacity, your ability to think.
Because you simply cannot think critically when you are exhausted.
You can't. That's the mechanism.
Yeah.
When you're burned out or you're constantly context switching, jumping between 5 different Slack threads while you're trying to analyze data,
Yeah.
the specific parts of your brain that are responsible for higher order thinking literally get compromised. We're talking about your prefrontal cortex.
So it's not just a feeling of being tired. It's an actual, measurable neurological degradation.
Exactly. Your working memory, which is like your mental RAM, gets totally depleted. And critical thought requires you to hold multiple, sometimes conflicting ideas in your head at once to see the trade-offs.
And if that workspace is full...
If it's saturated with urgency and notifications, you just default to the easiest answer, the one the AI gave you, or the one that requires the least effort. Your decision quality just plummets.
So burnout isn't just about feeling overwhelmed, it's about decision degradation.
That's the perfect phrase for it. If your team is running on fumes, their ability to spot a huge flaw in a plan is just gone. They're in survival mode.
That completely reframes the whole issue. Self-care stops being a personal luxury.
And becomes a strategic necessity.
Because protecting your team's thinking time is directly linked to protecting the quality of their decisions.
It moves self-care out of the HR department and into the boardroom. If you, as a leader, aren't creating space for reflection, you are actively choosing to allow faulty decisions to happen.
Okay, so that's the problem. Let's get into the solutions. How do we actually pull ourselves off this autopilot? What are some of the practical habits Kosh suggests?
Well, they're subtle, but they're really powerful. The first and maybe most important one is just about how we interact with AI.
Right. The idea of treating any AI output as a first draft, not a final answer.
Exactly. It's a starting point. It's a very robust starting point, but it still requires human validation. You have to build in checkpoints where you explicitly ask, what did the AI miss? What context does it not have?
What other habits are there?
Simple things like just pausing to ask why you're doing a task, not just how you could do it faster. Checking your sources. Validating a claim before you repeat it in a meeting.
I really liked the focus on creating space structurally, not just trying to be more personally resilient. It's not another productivity hack.
No, it's about structural protection. It means leaders have to actively create fewer interruptions. They have to block out and protect time for deep thinking.
Time to just reflect on the direction, not the speed.
Right. That's the slow, nuanced work of synthesis that AI just can't do yet.
And I loved the final bit of practical advice she gave to treat your own self-care choices as mini critical thinking exercises.
It's like practicing on yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of just reacting to stress by, scrolling on your phone, you actually apply the process. You define the problem. What is actually causing my stress right now?
You gather data, what activities actually restore my energy.
You consider options, you test them,
Mm.
you figure out what works for you, not what some influencer says should work.
So let's bring all these threads together. If critical thinking is so vital for quality work and for our own well-being, why is it disappearing?
It disappears because the entire system is designed to reward output over reflection.
That's it, isn't it?
When everything is urgent and speed is the only metric that gets you ahead, people get squeezed into a corner. There's just no time or energy left for deep thought. So they go with the easiest answer, not the best one.
And over time, that becomes the norm. People stop asking the hard questions because it's just inconvenient.
It's inconvenient, and sometimes it can even feel politically risky to be the one to say, hang on a second, so you just get on the train and hope it's going in the right direction.
So rebuilding this doesn't require some huge, massive change.
No, it requires small, consistent habits, those pauses, those checks, that protected time, and it requires leaders who are willing to model that behavior, who are willing to slow down just enough to allow for clear thought.
That willingness to choose clarity over raw speed.
That's what defines long-term success, not just being fast, but being right.
This has been such a powerful deep dive. It's really an argument for intentionality over pure reactivity. We want to leave you with the final question that Turan poses in her piece. It's really something to reflect on.
Ask yourself, are you reacting on autopilot, and what is that costing you?
What is it costing you in your decision quality, in lost resources, and in the depletion of your own finite ability to think?
A powerful question.
That is